This is your News Source Evening Bulletin for today, Monday, the 28th day of November in the year 2022. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting. Here's what we're tracking tonight. After a 2-week hiatus, the Commission of Inquiry into the 2020 elections recommenced today, with key witnesses pointing the Commission to various rooms within the Ashmans building where the Region 4 statements of poll were tabulated. It was in the Ashmans building that the Guyana Elections Commission Command Center and Office of the Region 4 Returning Officer were housed during the 2020 elections. During a visit to the Ashmans building today, a former member of the new movement, Dr. Josh Kanai, showed members of the commission the room in which GCOM's chairman, Justice Claudette Singh, retired, was found locked in, with Deputy Chief Election Officer Roxanne Myers and about 12 unknown men.
So this was the small room in the statement that I spoke about. The chair was right in the center, and the chairman was in the chair, and Ms. Roxanne Myers was sitting on the right handle of that chair. The entire side here were the gentlemen, which I also described in the statement.
Did you say the chair was lying down or the chair?
No, because the chair was sitting. Yes.
Was it just a chair, a couch?
It was a couch.
Okay. And was there any other furniture in the room?
I can't recall any other furniture.
Now, you said that at some point somebody pulled you backwards out of this room. Through which door?
Yes.
Who would have been that person?
That would have been a police officer.
The other persons you say who were in this room with the chairperson, who were they?
I have no idea who they were.
Dr. Kanai, who was among the first set of witnesses to appear before the commission, recalled that the incident took place on the 5th of March, the same day that the Region 4 Returning Officer Clement Mingo attempted to declare the results of the vote cast in Region 4. He recalled that the staircase leading to the third floor where the chairman's office was located was blocked by police officers, and that he, along with a number of other party agents and observers, managed to breach the human barricade and force their way to the chairman's office. And he also identified the room where the tabulation took place during the elections and other rooms. Another witness, IT manager at GCOM, Neil Giddings, pointed the commissioners to rooms which were occupied by the returning officer, deputy returning officer, and the GCOM chairman. He also walked the commission members through the process of collecting and processing the SOPs and other election-related material.
Where was it?
So, if I may outline the process.
Sure.
So, recall I mentioned that statements destined for the chief election officer would come through their respective returning officers.
Right.
Those returning officers would deliver those up the step using the entrance at the back. Up the step. And the receipt station was in this general area. There was a sort of a segregation of this area where there were staff stationed to receive the statements as they come in. After they would have received it, it went to the commissioners for their, they verified the authenticity and so on. They were stationed. They were stationed in that area.
Assistant Police Commissioner and Head of the Presidential Guard, Edgar Thomas, did a walkthrough also with the Commission members while responding to questions posed by the Commissioners and the Commission's attorney. More news coming up in just a moment.
Something big is here. GTT presents the moment you've all been waiting for.
'Tis the season to drive with GTT. Get your chance to be one of 4 lucky winners of a Toyota Raise, plus weekly giveaways and more. Simply activate a prepaid plan, sign up for fiber and voice plan, pay any 2 bills with MMG, or join the GTT family, and vroom! It could be you. 4 Toyota Raises, 4 winners. Drive with GTT.
Office Max, we're all about customer satisfaction. Whether it's clothing and shoes for the ladies, gents, and kids, or for the latest electronics or hardware appliance, we're always thinking of satisfying you, our dear customers. Now you can shop online at www.giftlandofficemax.com. Or visit us at the Giftland Mall, where we're happy to serve each and every one of you.
Sorrel making, hey, garlic stirring, hey, ham and black cake eating. Now this is Christmas. 'Tis the season to get what you've always wanted, with a little help from Republic Bank. Same day approvals apply online. It's time to make it happen for yourself and your family. Get cash back for the best Christmas ever. Sorrel making, hey, garlic stirring, hey, ham and black cake eating. Now this is Christmas.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Mobil 1 is more than oil. It's many oils. It transforms at the molecular level. When cold, it's thicker than honey. When hot, it's thinner than water. Mobil 1 adapts and readapts to last longer. 16,000 kilometers between oil changes. That's your engine evolved.
Sol Guyana is the authorized distributor of Mobil lubricants.
Get in the game with Buster. Win a full gaming setup, Xbox X, gaming chair, gaming speaker and headset, or any of over 60 weekly prizes like Oculus Quest 2, Mini 2 drone, Nintendo Switch, and many more top gaming prizes. Check below for details.
Let's tell you now that Opposition Member of Parliament Walter Lawrence believes that the country's public servants will not see any improvements in their standard of living with the recently announced 8% across-the-board increase by the government. Ms. Lawrence is predicting that after the lump sum is paid out to public servants in December, the cost of living complaints will be high on the agenda by January. During an appearance on her party's Nation Watch TV program, she said the government did not take the need of public servants into consideration when it imposed the 8% salary increase.
At the end of this month, at the end of December, then people are going to be questioning, what did we really receive? Because, you know, Guyanese people can now make a choice as to whether the APNU AFC government had their interests at heart as opposed to the PPP government. Because we didn't only give increases to bridge the gaps left by the PPP after their 23 years in office.
The increase, Ms. Lawrence said, should have reflected the reality on the ground after careful consideration with the unions representing the workers.
So the prices are going to balloon. You're giving this increase at the time of Christmas, which everybody celebrates, and everybody goes out there and shop. And so basically, you know, at the end of December, people are going to start questioning, did I really get an increase? Did I really get retroactive for 12 months? What is it I got? Because where is it?
According to the opposition member of parliament, the poverty rate in the country is way too high for the government to just impose its will on the people without having a careful analysis of the needs of the people.
And so it's time for you to start considering some measures that will affect these people across the board in a positive way, not in a negative way. Given an increase, it sounds good. But when I, as a head of a household, get out into the markets, get into the supermarkets, you know, then it's another ball game.
The government has come in for some criticism over the 8% retroactive salary increase, with many public servants complaining that a rise in the cost of living is impacting their lives and spending, and 8% will not fix that. A Charity Essequibo family was plunged into mourning and has been left in a state of disbelief following the murder of 73-year-old Agatha Gamel, allegedly at the hands of her own granddaughter. The elderly woman was found lifeless yesterday morning with her throat slashed and several other wounds. The body was discovered on the floor of her house moments after neighbors heard screams from her and saw her granddaughter drenched in blood with her young baby in her hands. The police in a statement said when the elderly woman's body was examined, investigators found one large wound behind the neck and one to the right side temple. There were also two large wounds seen on the back of the elderly woman's head, and all of her hair had been shaved off and placed on the floor of the kitchen. A neighbor told investigators that just after she heard screams from the house, the granddaughter appeared at their home covered in blood, with a young baby in her hands, claiming that the baby was dead. She left the neighbor's home after an alarm was raised, and the neighbor refused to take the baby from her as she requested. The baby was found alive and well just after the young mother's arrest. Family members have taken custody of the baby. The 21-year-old woman who is accused of killing her grandmother is a teacher who was allegedly suffering from postpartum depression after giving birth recently. She remains in police custody as the investigation continues. Police investigators are probing the gruesome murder of 85-year-old West Berbice resident Samintra Saw, who was found stabbed to death in her home early this morning. In a statement, the police force said the investigations have revealed that the elderly woman who lived alone in a 2-story wooden and concrete house was cared for by her great-niece, Roshani Basdio. The police said Basdio told the investigators that she visited her aunt's home yesterday, where she was alone at the time. She said the woman retired to bed around 7 p.m. on Sunday night as she stayed over. The caregiver claimed that she was awakened this morning by a man who demanded money while holding a knife to her throat. Police investigators were told that Basdio was taken to the elderly woman's room, where she said she saw another man with the elderly woman. The caregiver also related to the police that one of the suspects took her to the lower flat of the house, placed her in a chair, and tied her up. She said she heard the elderly woman, her great-aunt, crying out for help while the men ransacked the house. The woman said she was able to free herself, and when she rushed to her aunt's room after the men left, she found her lifeless body in a pool of blood and immediately raised an alarm. She said a number of articles that belonged to the elderly woman were missing, along with a bag with over $350,000 in cash. Crime scene investigators said the elderly woman was stabbed multiple times to her body. An investigation has been launched.
It's your time to win big. Spend $2,000 or more at any Massey stores to enter our Christmas jackpot promotion. You can be the lucky winner of a brand new Nissan X-Trail. You can also win a sofa set, Samsung gas stove, motorcycle, $300,000 in cash, or a fabulous weekend trip for two. Shop now until January 31st for a chance to hit Massey's Christmas jackpot. Check out our Facebook, Instagram, or website for more details.
It's November already and soon it will be Christmas, so we at John Lewis Styles are giving away one Amazon Echo show every week in November and every day in December. Stream music and videos, make video calls and control smart devices, alarms, reminders and lots more. Every $5,000 spent gives you a chance to win when you shop for clothing, footwear, watches, fragrances, handbags, luggage and accessories. So visit us on Waterloo Street. John Lewis Styles, simply different.
Did you know that the government has funded the 2022 budget through oil revenues? Yes, money earned from oil production offshore is being used to support projects in Guyana, including social programs like the increase of public assistance and old age pension, as well as cash grants to support the vulnerable members of society.
Get set, go! Guyana, get ready. It's the 60th National School Cycling, Swimming, and Track and Field Championships from November 27th all the way through December 2nd. Hosted by the Ministry of Education and the Guyana Teachers Union. The moment you've been waiting for is here. Come and see the top student athletes and teachers from 15 sporting districts compete in intense rivalries. Come and enjoy cycling November 28th at the National Park Georgetown and swimming at the National Aquatic Center Lilliandale. Witness the track and field action at the National Track and Field Center Lenora, West Coast Demerara on November 29, all the way through December 2nd. Action starts at 10 hours. The National Championships, where stars are born.
GBTI Quick Cash Christmas is back, just the way you like it. Get up to $500,000 easy for anything you want this Christmas. We ain't waiting on Santa. We buy and we own this Christmas. Apply at your nearest branch or online at www.gbtibank.com from October 15th to December 31st. GBTI, we see Christmas through your eyes. Terms and conditions apply.
A very Merry Guyanese Christmas.
The authorities have suspended 3 employees of the Demerara Harbour Bridge after the fuel tanker that slammed into the bridge back in October, causing major damage, left the country without the knowledge of the authorities. While the court ordered that the ship be released from custody and accepted a letter with an undertaking for the ship company to pay over more than $200 million, the authorities claimed that they had no idea that the ship departed the local shores. The government was hoping for the ship owner to pay the bridge repair bill, which the Ministry of Works estimated to be more than $1 billion. Officials have said that the court order cleared the way for the ship's departure, and there was no need for the owners of the ship to inform the authorities of that departure. While the top brass at the Ministry of Works are claiming to be unaware of the ship's departure, sources have indicated that there was documentation filed for the departure and the ship departed more than a week ago. The Works Ministry appeared embarrassed by the fiasco and has moved to take action against some employees at the bridge who allowed the ship's passage as part of their job. In another dent in the narcotics trade in Guyana, a joint services team carried out a major drug eradication exercise in the Berbice region this past weekend, destroying more than 4,000 pounds of marijuana. In a statement by the police, it was explained that an operation was launched at Kimbia in the Upper Berbice region after reports were received of cattle rustling. The police said that during the joint services operation, 3 large marijuana farms were discovered across more than 8 acres of land along the Ibini Trail. A number of makeshift camps were found at the sites with farming tools and components of a gun. There were no arrests, but the joint services destroyed a large amount of marijuana found at the 3 sites. According to the police, the destroyed marijuana carried a street value of more than 500 million Guyana dollars. Attorney General Anand Lal is leading Guyana's delegation at the Caribbean Financial Action Task Force 55th Plenary and Working Group meetings in the Cayman Islands, where issues raised in the country's second money laundering and terrorist financing National Risk Assessment report are expected to come up. According to that report, the overall level of money laundering threat in Guyana is medium-high due to the significant estimated value of proceeds of crime generated from predicate offences committed in the country, coupled with a lack of convictions for money laundering over the years. The CFATF plenary opens on Wednesday and will be followed by the working group meetings such as the heads of FIU Forum, the International Cooperation Review Group meeting, and the CFATF Risk Trends and Methods Group Forum. In a statement today, the Attorney General's Chamber explained that the forum creates a platform for countries to discuss key issues identified in their draft mutual evaluation report and to measure the progress made by those countries that have completed the 4th round of mutual evaluation. The Chamber said that for Guyana, the plenary and working group meetings are particularly important, since Guyana's attendance at the meetings, especially as the country prepares for its 4th round mutual evaluation, is very important. The Attorney General's Chamber said it gives the delegates the opportunity to benefit from the discussions of the mutual evaluation of 2 of its close neighbors, Suriname and Venezuela, whose reports are currently being discussed and will be featured prominently at the plenary. It was also noted that the meetings also provide opportunities for member states to discuss the implementation of new recommendations and strategies and difficulties that may arise.
Census takers are visiting communities across Guyana and collecting information from every household. This information will help the government to plan better for our country's development. All the information shared will be treated as strictly confidential, and everyone is asked to participate. No one should be alarmed about any question asked, because the answers provided will help to improve living standards, decrease community crime rates, and improve access to housing and healthcare, among other benefits.
The census gives us the tool to identify some of these important gaps that exist across communities, within communities, and across regions, so that we can have targeted intervention.
Yeah, we counting way from region 1 to region 10, the whole country. Yeah, we counting way.
Food Max Supermarket, located on the ground floor at the Giftland Mall, is your one-stop shop for all your grocery needs. We stock a variety of imported frozen meat and food products, fresh produce, and pet supplies, freshly made bread. Rotisserie chicken and patties are also available daily. Shop in comfort today at Food Max and let our courteous staff assist you in satisfying your shopping needs. Food Max, the fresh food specialist.
It's one of your biggest goals, getting your own home, where memories are made, where happiness lives. You may feel that home ownership or renovation is beyond your reach, but we at Republic want you to know that there's always a way. Ask us about our suite of mortgages. Let's help make your housing wishes come true. Or advise on how the equity in your existing home can finance other dreams and goals. Call or go online to learn more.
Get in the game with Buster. Win a full gaming setup, Xbox X, gaming chair, gaming speaker and headset, or any of over 60 weekly prizes like Oculus Quest 2, Mini 2 drone, Nintendo Switch, and many more top gaming prizes. Check below for details.
Fuel it up and drive, super 95. Tune up, fuel it up and drive, super 95. Tune up, protect your fuel system, boy. High mileage and performance, boy.
Guy Oil Super 95 gasoline gives you more reasons to drive and is available at 56 service stations nationwide. For affordable price, high performance, and high mileage, choose Guy Oil's Super 95 gasoline.
Fuel it up and drive.
Across the region tonight, China has agreed to restructure Cuban debt and provide new trade and investment credits to the beleaguered Caribbean island nation after a meeting in Peking between the two communist country leaders. Cuban Economy Minister Alejandro Gil said that China has also donated $100 million to help his country cope with basic goods shortages and an energy crisis worsened by Hurricane Ian, which decimated western Pinar del Rio province in late September. Gil was speaking in an interview with official media traveling with the president of Cuba as he returned home over the weekend from a tour of Algeria, Russia, Turkey, and China. Chinese trade and investment has slowed in recent years due to Cuba's failure to meet restructured debt payments, according to analysts and diplomats, a situation worsened by tighter U.S. sanctions, the pandemic, and domestic economic inefficiencies. Cuba last reported its foreign debt in 2019 to be $19.6 billion US. China is Cuba's most important commercial partner after Venezuela. Venezuela's government and the opposition have signed a preliminary agreement to find a way out of the country's current political crisis. During talks in Mexico, the two issued a joint statement requesting that billions of dollars frozen abroad be released to help fund social projects in Venezuela. It comes after years of failed attempts to solve a political deadlock between the government and the opposition. In response, the U.S. said that it would allow the American oil company Chevron to resume some activity in Venezuela. Following President Nicolas Maduro's election in 2013, he has grown increasingly authoritarian, reports the BBC. The BBC says his crackdown on opposition activists ultimately led to the U.S. imposing sanctions on his regime and recognizing the country's opposition leader Juan Guaido as interim president in 2019 after a contested election. Since then, several rounds of talks aimed at finding a way out of the political deadlock have gone nowhere, with the last negotiations failing just over a year ago. But now the government and the opposition, with the help of Norway as the mediator, have drawn up an agreement that aims to ensure that billions of dollars frozen abroad will be gradually released by a UN-managed fund to be put towards healthcare, education, and food aid across Venezuela. And finally tonight, international news. Protests against COVID restrictions in China, which erupted over the weekend, appear to have died down as a heavy police presence is reported in several Chinese cities. Large barriers were placed along the main protest road in Shanghai, and the police have made several arrests. They have been stopping people taking photos of the protests and deleting pictures from their devices. Nationwide protests grew after a fire in a high-rise block in Urumqi, western China, killed 10 people on Thursday. It is widely believed that residents could not escape the blaze because of COVID restrictions, but local authorities have disputed that. A BBC reporter was detained while covering a protest in Shanghai on Sunday. The reporter said he was beaten and kicked by the police during his arrest. The UK Foreign Secretary James Cleverly tweeted that the arrest was deeply disturbing. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley, reporting and encouraging you to stay safe.